Hello, everybody, and welcome to this SLTC Awards application webinar. My name is Charlie Elliott, and I'm the head of the Lichfield and Tamworth Chambers of Commerce and the Royal Sutton Coldfield Chamber of Commerce. So today, you'll gain an insight into what the judges are looking for when they're judging the SLTC Awards and how to tailor your application to best maximise your chance of winning one of our business awards. So remember to listen carefully and take notes during this workshop, and please make sure to use the Q&A chat box at the bottom of the screen for any questions that you have. We'll get those answered for you and loop back around to them at the end of the webinar. So I'll pass over to my colleague now, Richard, who will begin to chair the session.
Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome once again to our SLTC Awards application webinar. I'm going to introduce to you in just a moment Anjum Khan, our chair of judges and head of the Asian Business Chamber. Anjum, would you mind introducing yourself and give us a top line overview of the applications and deadlines, etc.? Anjum, over to you.
Thank you, Richard. So, as Richard mentioned, I'm Anjum Khan, the director of the Asian Business Chamber of Commerce, and I have the pleasure of being the judging chair for SLTC Awards 2025. So my job is going to be overseeing all the judges' scores as they come in. But just to give you a bit of background, if you don't already have it, we've got 8 categories this year, and they are Cannock, Lichfield, Tamworth, Royal Sutton Coldfield, Small Business of the Year. And then we have the SLTC Entrepreneur of the Year, the SLTC Community Impact Award, and then we have the SLTC Large Business of the Year. All applicants must be based within these areas, so like Royal Sutton Coldfield, Lichfield, Tamworth or Cannock Chase. You do not need to be a member of any of our divisions to apply for these awards. So I'll move on. And introducing Naeem. So, Naeem, if you can introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Naeem Arif, I'm the proud president of the Sutton Coldfield Chamber of Commerce. I'm also director of a retail business called United Carpets, and really pleased to be part of this webinar today.
Thank you, Naeem. Chris, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Chris Leggett. I'm the director and founder of Osborne Communications. We're a PR and content agency. We've been chamber members since we launched in 2020. We work with a range of large brands and SMEs all around Birmingham and the West Midlands. And the services we provide include news creation, media relations, and content writing. And award writing has been a success for us since we launched. Since 2021, we've helped clients achieve 133 finalist placings to date and 30 award wins. Many of those were businesses that were new to award entries, but what they've all benefited from has been the recognition and the marketing opportunities that have allowed them to position themselves as successful, high-achieving businesses in a whole range of categories. So looking forward to being part of the webinar today.
Thank you, Chris. Handing back to you, Richard. Oh, you're on mute.
It's bound to happen every now and again. And maybe are we being recorded as well, Curtie? We are too. So just remember, obviously, if you need to come back to this at another time or pass this on to another business colleague, then this is being recorded, and we can we put a link up there at some point in the very near future, so you can go back through it. I'm not sure that I mentioned before what my role was. I'm actually head of Burton District and Cannock Chase Chamber. Right, now let's just go straight into some of the questions for our panel. Actually, the first one's for Charlie. Can you give us a bit of background on the SLTC Awards?
Yeah, absolutely. So the SLTC Awards stand for the Sutton Coldfield, Lichfield, Tamworth and Cannock Chase Chamber Awards, for all those who need a quick refresh on that. And they were proudly launched in 2017 to shine a spotlight on the fantastic accomplishments of businesses across the region. So these awards are a celebration of the passion, innovation and resilience that define our local communities and local business economies. By recognising the exceptional contributions of these businesses of all sizes and sectors, the awards aim to inspire, others, foster growth, and strengthen the bonds in our business community. So it's a moment to really kind of stand back and appreciate all those who have gone above and beyond, setting new standards of excellence and positively impacting our communities.
That's great. Thank you, Charlie. That's superb. And now I've got a question. If we can go to Naeem. Can you give us an insight into the awards ceremony and dinner? I know you've been to a couple yourself. Can you give us a real idea of the flavour of the evening itself?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. So really proud that our awards kick off the whole year of awards that come ahead. So we're the first of the year, end of January. I think Friday the 31st of January is the date. We'll be at the fabulous Belfry Resort in Sutton Coldfield. And it's a great opportunity for all the finalists to get together. I know there's a lot of focus on the winner, but all the finalists are celebrated. You'll be in a room with 200 plus other finalists from all the different sub chambers around, so Sutton, Lichfield and Tamworth. There's a great meal, entertainment on offer, networking opportunities, of course, fabulous photos. And us three presidents will also be presenting our President's Award on the night as well. So it's always a really great night at the start of the year, probably end of January, where it's a bit gloomy, and we have our fabulous awards for people to come along and enjoy.
No, I can echo that. It really is. I've been to a few myself. It's an absolutely superb event. And we certainly do fill the room, and there's entertainment, all kinds of stuff going on. Another question actually now for Chris. Chris, are there specific eligibility requirements or restrictions for applicants, for example? For example, I can help you with this as well, some of the postcodes that you're able to apply from. But a question for you there, Chris.
Thank you, Richard. So in total, there's 8 award categories that are open for applications. As we've just heard, there are 3 President's Awards. You can, in terms of restrictions, the only restriction is that there's a maximum of 2 per organisation, and they're dependent on your location. So if I quickly reel off the list again, we've got 4 individual small business awards. Cannock Chase, sponsored by Enoch Evans. Lichfield, sponsored by Crown Highways. Tamworth Small Business of the Year. Royal Sutton Coldfield Small Business of the Year. So the postcodes for those naturally fall into those places. And then there's 4 individual categories which go across all 4 areas. That's Entrepreneur of the Year, Community Impact Award, Young Professional of the Year, sponsored by South Staffordshire College, and then Large Business of the Year. So if an organisation has an office or branch based in both, say, Lichfield and Sutton Coldfield, they could apply to only one of those postcode-driven ones, so small business in either but not both, or they can apply for another category, which is among those 4 that I've mentioned there that are not restricted by postcode. So that's Entrepreneur, Community Impact, Young Professional and Large Business are open to businesses or individuals across all the regions. And then, yes, postcodes are a rule of thumb on the one small business for the places. In terms of the award category breakdown and the link, that's all available on the application portal, which you can find either through the main website or on the event page. And I think it's important to remember that, especially at this early stage, as the deadline is 6 weeks or so away, if you do have any questions, your chamber team are here to help you. And it is better to ask now and find out where you might fit in than assume you're not eligible and don't enter, or you go down the wrong path in trying to enter a category that might just not fit you best. So it's a two-way dialogue to be had there. But yeah, overall, we've got four categories that are open, and then the others are postcode is a good rule of thumb for the other 4.
That's great. Thanks, Chris. And of course, the postcodes can be found on the application form itself online. If you have any questions specifically about that in the next couple of minutes, pop those into the Q&A and I can let you know what those postcodes are in those areas. Next question really actually is for anybody on the panel, maybe Anjum, if you've got that sheet in front of you, what are the key factors the judges consider when evaluating applications?
Right. So the feedback, well, what I would say, the judges really are looking for you to answer the questions. So do answer the questions. That's one place where companies can fall on. So I'd say read the questions carefully and each bullet point within the question. Use evidence to back up your answers, and I say stick to your word count. So this year it's going to be different for SLTC Awards. Previous to this, you could download the application and fill it in and send it across. Now it's going to be done online. So I would say that there is a word limit. So provide supporting evidence and testimonials from clients and colleagues. Use external links if you're limited by the word count. Don't assume the judges know everything about you or your organization. Even if you are well-known business, judges can't apply their knowledge of your business and can only judge you on your submission. And I say, as I've already mentioned, do cover each question as well and make sure you are answering this.
Lovely, thanks, Anjum. That's brilliant. Brilliant advice there. Of course, like we all remember, go back to school, make sure you read the questions very carefully and answer them very, very specifically. Next question, actually, could I go back to Chris, if that's okay? Are there any tips or best practices for completing the application form?
Thank you, Richard. I mean, you've invoked that phrase that any of us who've put exams long behind us have hoped we've left long behind, which is you have to answer the question on the piece of paper in front of you. And that is one of the truisms of it, because it's human nature that we may try and really impress the judges with lots and lots of information, but if it's not relevant to the criteria you're being judged on, you are asking them to go outside the matter in hand and you're not answering that question. So the best advice we give people, whether they're clients looking to work with us or people looking to write their own entries, is one of the best ways of being successful is to keep it simple. That's not to say that your answers are short or simplified, but if you put yourself through the process early, start and give yourself as much time as possible, and make sure that you're always keeping the judges in mind as you put this together. One simple bit of advice is get somebody who wants to write the form or wants to tell the story to do the entry, because that enthusiasm about communicating the successes of the business or individual, the enthusiasm about being part of the process will come across in that final submission. Many judges, and I'm sure that the rest of the panel will agree, are frustrated when they receive a promising entry, but you can just tell it's been rushed or the person involved has tried to do it while juggling other things, and it feels like perhaps half an entry. As we've heard already, you can only be assessed by what's on the form. So start early, get somebody involved who wants to take this on as a challenge, but then go back to that criteria, take a thorough look at the categories. We've heard already today that they're broad and yet they're specific to different types of businesses, and then break down that criteria into chunks or sections, because that is how the judges are going to be looking at you. So if they ask to hear about specific things, turn that into your list and then write your entry meeting each of those in turn. If you can write to the criteria, that is what the judges will be judging you on, and you make their job easier because you speak to them in the way that they're looking to get the information. Keep it relevant, make it interesting to read, set yourself a clear plan and some deadlines so that you can get the entry turned around. But data is crucial. I think we've already heard that today. If you're going to make a statement about your work or your business, back it up with some evidence. Keep to the word limit. Make sure that it's all on the page. Please don't ask the judges to go off and do additional research, or if you go to our website, you will see, or visit our YouTube channel, that they may be restricted on time. And the spirit of it is they're going to be trying to assess you like everybody else on the entry. So please don't ask them to go off and spend additional time. Put it on the form, keep to the word limit. Please proofread your work to make sure it's legible and is grammatically correct. And if you do need people in or around you, either to read it, to sense check it, or for their permission for it to be submitted, make sure you do that in good time, because the deadlines at the end of October will come around very, very quickly. So it's a simple approach, but it's one that works. But time, thought, structure, and then a little bit of time at the end to review it, that goes a long way.
Lovely, thanks, Chris. That's brilliant. Brilliant advice once again. Naeem, we've got a question for you here. Are there any common mistakes or pitfalls applicants should avoid in their submissions?
So a lot of what's been said has been brilliant, and I agree completely with Chris and what Anjum has said. Follow the process, answer the questions. In terms of the last point that was made, I think that's really relevant in that sometimes people assume that we're great, so we deserve an award. So really put your application together in terms of a pitch and put in any information you need on top, and make sure there's nothing left to chance, when you're going to put an application together. Sometimes people think we're a great company and we didn't win. Often it's because the points that the guys have been making already haven't been adhered to. You didn't ask the questions, you didn't do the word count, you're in the wrong category and things like that. So, use things like bullet points to answer your questions. Assume that you're talking about your strengths. Don't forget to talk about your strengths as well. So there seem to be really simple things to do, but often it's a great application covering all the simple things that have been called about already, which is what's going to showcase your business the best and give you the best chance of winning. And remember, it's not just about winning, it's about being a finalist. Well, being a finalist is going to be great for your company as well. So don't just focus on winning and think, we're never going to win this. Focus on being a finalist and worry about winning as the next step.
Brilliant, thanks, Naeem. Absolutely true. You can make a real massive amount of promotional content using being a finalist. It's really, really, really positive. And quite often we do focus too much on the winning. Just remember, obviously, everything is going to be on that page that you're writing on. And so, if there ever was disappointment about not winning, actually, there really is the possibility that somebody out there could have written a better application than yourself. So please bear that in mind and actually get it right first time round. Chris, I've got your hand up there. Can you add something to that?
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, I mean, there's some other bits to add to it. Are picking up on some of the things we've established there is having been on both sides of the fence, submitting entries, and then also in the rooms with judges. Generalisations or passing statements that you feel tell the story, you have to back them up. So we always go above and beyond. I think everybody on this call would hope that somebody would say that of you, but what does that mean? Nothing is too much for this person or this business. What does that mean? And the best way you can back up statements that are well-meaning but perhaps only give a sense of the story is data. So you may have customer survey results which show people rate you highly on this. You may have Google reviews, online feedback, anonymous or detailed, that shows a trend. If you're a larger organisation and you do staff surveys, what do your staff say about what it's like to work for you? And then, of course, there's monetary or financial trends of, we have grown our exports to now be 33%, 50% of our overall sales. All of this fills in the blanks for the judges, because otherwise, if you're just saying we do a good job, we deliver results, you're going to have to be specific, because it doesn't matter what the size of the business is, it's all proportionate. And those make such a difference to the judges, because you are spelling it out to them. And it also gives them that positive feeling that they've got a business that they can put forward. Generalisations don't help anybody, so make it as specific as possible. Brilliant,
thanks, Chris. Just got another question for you there, actually. There's individuals out there who may feel personally their business or themselves, or they haven't done enough to apply for an award. What would you give? What kind of advice would you give those people?
I mean, picking up on a couple of points that have been made already, being a finalist is a massive achievement, and there's all sorts of marketing opportunities. So if you are a very competitive person, that it's either you win or you're nowhere, awards are healthy. It's good. You can realise that. But for many businesses, it's the flip side where they perhaps feel inadequate, or that awards are not for companies like them, where they hold themselves back. So awards are like lots of things in business. They kind of hold up a mirror to what people bring to these things. But I think in general, sometimes people talk themselves out of entering at the lower end of it, because they feel that you have to be exceptional or something like an Oscar winner to be able to be presented with an award. And as we've touched on this afternoon, growth or success is all relative, and it could be the specifics of your story are a heck of an achievement. They're just perhaps not, you may feel that we're not Facebook or Tesla, so we don't have a story to tell. But the judges will understand that if you're able to explain where you started, what you've done over the last year or two, and for many businesses, how they've survived and then bounced back from COVID, the cost of living, inflation, supply chain challenges. There's a huge amount that you can tell that may feel obvious to you, but that's your story. The impact you have on your clients, what you do in the community, how you've supported your employees, or how they've delivered results for you. All of these are great material to turn into entries that will impress the judges. But you shouldn't be holding back. I think by the very fact that the people on the call today have joined this, they're engaged with the chamber, whether they're a member or not, but they are interested in what's going on in their business community. You've got the material there. It's about communicating that. And being presented with that blank page is difficult. As someone who writes for a living, I do understand that. But if you can put together an entry which is clear, you are able to explain how your business is consistent, reliable, trusted. All of these things are award-winning attributes. But you've got to put in an entry. We're here today to encourage people to do it. And it's that truism that you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. For every business that will enter these awards, and for those that are successful enough to be named as a finalist, there are going to be 20 or 50 more who just didn't get around to doing their entry. Start early, prepare, communicate, keep it simple if it's the first one you've done, see what you can learn from it. But you might be surprised how far you can go in not just these awards, but the wider chamber awards, or even others for your sector or your speciality. But if you can put yourself through the process, the possibilities are pretty limitless for these.
That's lovely. Thanks, Chris. Absolutely superb advice there. Absolutely get your application in. You're going to showcase your business to all the event promo, 260, 270 people in the room. Great opportunity for self-reflection and great practice for future events. And actually, if you're successful in this one, it may encourage you to go and apply for those awards with that application, with some changes for things like the annual dinner and awards, and anything else, actually. So thank you so much for that, Chris. That's brilliant. Charlie, how does the judging panel handle conflicts of interests, especially if some judges are affiliated with particular companies or industries?
Yeah, so we ask all judges to make sure to inform the chair of judges, who I believe will be Anjum on this occasion, to let us know of any potential conflicts of interest and to make sure they refrain from judging that particular application where the conflicts are existing. And our judging panel is composed of a diverse group of experienced individuals who don't work for the chamber. So we make sure that we are kind of diversifying the views and making sure we get kind of as fair of a judgment as possible. Each judge will initially review each application and then score on a specific set of our criteria. And these evaluations will then be followed by a collaborative conversation with the chair of judges. So we really make an attempt to make this as thorough and impartial as possible. make sure we're fairly determining the shortlist and ultimately, you know, selecting the most deserving winners based on the applications.
Lovely, thanks, Charlie. Quick question then for Ange, if that's possible. Can you, as the chair of judges, clarify the timeline and important dates for the application and judging processes?
Sure. So the deadline for the awards are Friday, 27th of October at 11:59 p.m. So as I mentioned earlier, that this is online that you have to apply. So you do have to get your nominations in before that time. So that is the date. And yeah, that people can start applying right straight away.
So avoid the sweat, make sure you get it in early. Or at least get it prepared and ready to upload on the day, so you've got plenty of time to go through it, do any kind of extra drafts, to develop it a little bit more. But absolutely, last thing that evening, that's fantastic. Naeem, can you confirm where applicants can download an application form and view the event details?
So it's on the main chamber website, because SLT is the most important part of the chamber. It's right on the front page, so you can't lose it. And then you can get information about the events, applying for an award. You can also buy tickets and things like that. Can I just go back to what Anjum just said? It's really important. I hear a lot of feedback that people put the nominations in at 5 o'clock on the last day. There's no point waiting that long. If you've got some technical issues or whatever, please put your applications in early. Don't get caught out because you would have waited till the last minute. But all the event information, application information is all on the main chamber website, greaterbirminghamchambers.com.
So, thanks, Naeem. And also, there's been a couple of people ask me, they look at the event page itself and can't find, there's actually an extra little menu as you scroll down. There's an extra little menu with different details about the event on that page as well. So you'll find an extra sub menu above the details of the event, which will give you awards, applications, all the other bits and bobs that you require. So have a good look at that if you think you can't see it. It's all in there on the website. So good luck with the applications. We're going to just go to the chat box now just to see if there are any questions. First of all, Charlie, have you had a look at those?
Yes, yeah, I have. So we've had the question asked, what is the judging criteria when reviewing the entries? So I'm not sure who would like to take that question from the panel. Would anyone like to take that question?
Yeah, I'll take it. And it's something that we've already discussed. It's regarding to make sure that you meet the criteria. It's all on the website. But if you do have to be a business based within Royal Sutton Coldfield, Lichfield, Tamworth or Cannock Chase, you don't have to be a member to apply as long as you are within those locations.
Great, thanks, Anjum. And then,
can I just add to that, there's a really useful PDF on the chamber website which breaks it all down for you as well. So if there is any ambiguity, check that. And there's an email address at the bottom which says, if you've got any questions, ask that. So ask your questions, don't get caught out with a bad application.
Yeah, thanks, Naeem. Great. And then we've had another question asking around links and applications to clarify whether you're able to put links in your application to help keep to word count.
Yeah. I'll take that one again. Provide supporting evidence and testimonials from clients and colleagues. You can use external links if you're limited by the word count. So you do have to stick to the word count. So I would say that use add a link instead.
Okay, great, thank you. And I think that's all the questions from the chat box, unless anyone wants to add one in last minute quickly. But until that point, I think we're done. So back to you, Richard.
Can I add something to what Anjum just said? Don't make the basic mistake of adding a link and then it's a broken link. If you get your application ready, turn it into a PDF, email it to somebody else, get them to check it for you as well. Sometimes people add a link and they forgot to put the last character on and the link doesn't work.
Yeah, and actually, you know, go by the questions on the application and really follow the criteria. Don't rely totally on external links, because we can't really expect the judges to go out and spend another 3 hours looking at websites and other things. Actually, if it's really concise and succinct in there, that's great. I'll let Chris give us the last comments on that, because he did mention it in his advice a little bit earlier. Chris?
It's an opportunity to add additional information, so that's got to be welcome. But maybe I'm a bit of a purist, but I think if you can get the key points on your form, you're in a much stronger position than if you're for technical issues, for time issues. You are asking a lot of the judges if you're expecting them to, say, watch a 15-minute video or something like that outside of it. So I would expect anything that you link out to or you use as additional, you to summarise and be really specific as to why you want the judges to look at it. Of course, that's an opportunity to embellish further or maybe just demonstrate the impact of something, but try and get the balance right, because the judges are on your side. It's your chamber. They want to see you do well and celebrate all the achievement and the success we've got locally. But if you're then asking them to spend half a day going through the history of your business and everything you've ever done, make it selective, summarise it, and just pick it to almost like a greatest hits compilation of these are 2 or 3 things you have to see and no more.
That's lovely. Thanks, Chris. And if there's nothing more to add, there's no more questions in there. I'd like to bring the SLTC application webinar to a close. Thank you, everybody, for coming along. And we'll get this posted up on our GBCC website as soon as possible, so that you can refer to that and for others to have a look through when they are filling out their application. Thanks once again, and see you soon.